Educational Technology Center, and today's brown bag is on putting your course materials in SoftChalk 7. We have handouts up here and thanks, evaluation forms. Okay, and SoftChalk 7 has been around for a number of years, and it's a very simple web page editor, but it works very well, and it lets you easily create engaging interactive web lessons for your students. So one of the nice things, you can put your content in, but you can also put quiz questions and a lot of activities. So now there's 21 different activities that you can put in, like little puzzles and matching and little things that enhance the learning process. So it has basic text editing, such as adding bold, italic, colored text, bullets, tables, and hyperlinks, and then it has some of these more advanced things, pop-up annotations and interactive learning games. So we're going to look at those today. And I'm going to pull up the program here just to let you look at how simple it is. So this is SoftChalk 7. And so we have our file menu up here, edit, insert, format, tools, table, properties, preview, and help. Most of the time what we're going to do is insert various items to complement our normal text and photos and things, our course materials. Okay, let me go back down to my outline here. So it's real easy to get this program. Believe it or not, this program sells for over $1,000. It's a real simple program, but it has a high retail price. And to get it, you're going to go to the EdTech Center homepage. Everybody knows where that is, right? It's www.jccc.edu/edtech, and it's on your handout. And I'll show you what that looks like. So here's the EdTech Center homepage, and we're going to go down to Resources for Faculty. So if you haven't been out here yet, come out to the EdTech Center homepage and look around. There's lots of resources here. And then we're going to click on the link called Software Downloads. And this is going to open up the InfoShare window, hopefully, in just a second. And then it allows us to download the software and the serial number to install it. Have any of you been on InfoShare? Almost all of you. Okay, good. So here it is, and it didn't even ask me for a username and password because I logged into the domain. So if you logged in on your local computer, it's not even going to ask you. It's just going to take you with that link I gave you, or the EdTech Center homepage. And then we click on SoftChalk Lesson Builder, and then this SoftChalk file here. Okay? And then here's your serial number, and you can copy that and then paste that in after you download either the Macintosh or the Windows versions. Okay? Okay. So there's really three simple ways to get your materials into SoftChalk. You can enter them in directly, just type them in like a regular word processor like Word or whatever you use. Or you can import them from Word by doing a copy and paste, or you can import them from Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay? And some of the things that we can add in are styles and banners, footers, table of contents. We can add print all pages option, text pop-ups, quizzes, activities, videos, audio clips, hyperlinks. Those are just a few of the things that we can add into our lesson. So let's look at that in SoftChalk. I'm going to pull up a typical lesson here, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, So here's a typical lesson that I pulled in actually from the SoftChalk site. They have a number of examples. And here's a lesson, and again, you could alter this. It's just a simple word processor, and we have a number of things in here that we can add, like hotspots, quizzes, and we'll look at some of those. So if we wanted to add an activity, these are all the activities, some examples of activities that we can add in there. Okay, so let me show you how this looks when we actually use it. We have to go to Preview, View in Browser, and that's going to allow us to see what this looks like to our students. Okay, so here is our SoftChalk content, and that's interesting. And here's the thing to notice. So some of the things that SoftChalk added here were the header up here, the page numbers, so there's 8 pages in this lesson. It has a drop-down content also. It has a score that students can click on that will give them their score. It has a print all capability, so we can put it into a single page for printing. And then as we go through with our navigation, we have at the lower part of the page, we have various questions and self-checks. Okay, so here's one. Here's a matching item. It says match the items. So we just match a category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hurricane to whichever one of these it matches to. And then it grades that, and it has the capability to put that into your Angel gradebook. If you're using it in Angel, it can automatically put that into a gradebook column, which is a nice feature. Let me pull up Angel here real quick, and I'll show you what that looks like in an Angel course. Okay, so here's a typical course called ETC Test Course 2. And that's going to come up in just a second. And then I have a number of these SoftChalk lessons that I put in here. Here's the All About Hurricanes. And we can click on that, and then we'll see how it looks in Angel. Okay, so it displays in that window, and students can go through and navigate through either the page numbers up here or the next page at the bottom of the page, etc.
How did you put it, just as a file?
It's uploaded as a single zip file, and that process is sort of interesting. We package the lesson in SoftChalk, and then if we want grades to go to the gradebook, we have to make a few extra selections under options. I'll show you how that works. So we're in SoftChalk, and we go up to File. So we have our material here. We say Package Lesson, and then we're going to select the standard zip as the package type, and then we're going to say LMS, which stands for Learning Management System, with Scorm 1.2. Now that's on your handout, but make a note of that. It only works in Angel with Scorm 1.2. So LMS with Scorm 1.2 only works with Angel if you want the scores to go to the gradebook. Let me make that clear. You can definitely put out something where the scores just stay in the SoftChalk module and don't go to a gradebook column. But one of the nice features is it can go to a gradebook column. Okay, and then we say OK. And then it packages all the files, because it's just like a website. It has HTML pages, it has graphics, it has movies, whatever. It's all packaged together into one zip. Depending on how fast your machine is, it normally takes just a few seconds. And then it'll tell us that it created a zip file in the same folder that we had our source files. Okay, so whatever folder we saved our source files in, that's where our zip file will be located. Okay, so it's working on that. And notice also you can have a certificate of completion that they can print out. You can have, okay, so it's been packaged as hurricanes.sco.zip. And so I'm going to go out to my regular drive, and let's say I'm in Angel, and I want to add now this module that I've created, this SoftChalk module, to lessons. I go add content, and then I say IMS Scorm package. That's the key, and that's in your handout also. IMS Scorm package, and then I say upload an IMS Scorm package, and then I browse the local machine, and I'll go to the location of that original source files, and then I open up that zip file, and then I say import. Okay. And that imports it in, and as we know in Angel, anything I add goes to the bottom of the page by default, and then I can rearrange it with that rearrange link if I wish to. Okay, so if I look down at the bottom, I have a new item down here, and then if I want it to go to a grade column, I have to do one more important step. I need to go down to the utilities, and this is a little bit different than anything else in Angel. We go down to utilities under a Scorm item, and then we say Scorm Gradebook Assignments. And then here's another tricky thing. We're only going to pick one of these, usually the first one. We're only going to check one of them. If you check both of them, you'll have two columns with the grade in each column. It'll just duplicate it. So you just want to check one of them, and then you need to pick the category. Typically you'll have tests, quizzes, homework, and we're going to say quizzes, and then we're going to say submit. Okay, so in Angel, if we go to the Manage tab to get to the gradebook, and then look under View All Grades, we're going to go under our Quizzes option, and we have a Hurricanes column now set up. Actually, we have a couple of them here because we entered it twice. We already had that module in this course. Okay, then when your students go out under, let's take the new one that we just added here, and they go out and take the little quiz items in here, or activities that are graded. So all the activities have an optional grading score that you can attach to them. We'll look at that in a little bit on the options on that. So if I go down and I have this matching capability, and I'll just, no real damage to building structures, I'm going to say that's A. Considerable damage to vegetation, mobile homes, I'm going to say that's category B. And then a category 3 hurricane would be, I don't know, let's put C. And then complete building failures maybe would be a category 5. And that leaves D. Can't be that easy, can it? Okay, partially correct. Points scored 0. Okay. So that's an example. Let's go to another one. Here's a rollover activity. When you roll over the particular area of a hurricane, it tells you what that area is. So here's the eye wall, the outer rain bands. Okay. Oh boy, quick time. Okay, so let me show you another example so you can see some of the capabilities of SoftChalk. Okay, and this one's called Eye Anatomy. And again, it has the navigation up here that's automatically built in. It has the scoring, print all. It has on this page sort of a summary of what's on this page. Learn more, view an eye diagram. Okay, so a little URL link out to an external resource. We can have widgets. Widgets are a new thing that there's literally millions of those out there now that we can embed in our course. We can go out to Google and search for those, and there may be one. Here's one that happens to be on eye-related information. It's called a widget, and you can go out to Google. You can search for widgets and embed them in your course. You can do that without SoftChalk. You can do that in Angel itself real easily too. Okay, so this is a graded activity. What we're going to do is it says click on the iris. Okay, so iris would be what, right here? Think so? Okay, so it says right, good job. Click on the upper eyelid. Okay, click on the sclera. I want to say it's right here. And then click on the pupil. Okay, and then over on the right, you saw it pulled in 4 out of 100 so far. Okay, so students navigate and they read this material. And here's a little tougher one. So this is a labeling activity where they drag the appropriate label to the spot up here. And this has quite a few. And so they literally, let's see if I know anything. Optic nerve would be what? Right about here? Nope. Lens would be this one. I'm not doing too good here. Iris. You hear those sound effects? I should be able to get some of these. No? Okay. Is anybody in here knowledgeable about the eye? Do we know where the cornea is? Nobody. Okay. This is a tough one. The what? The bottom one? Okay. Damn, you got it right. Okay, lens. Lens would be next one up. All right. How about iris? Next one? No? Fourth one up. Good. Okay. Sclera. Anybody have a right here? All right. The very back thing? Here? No. Try the very back thing. Yep. Optic nerve. Here? Next to the top one. Okay, good. So you're definitely learning. Retinal vessels. Okay, and I only have one left, so I got to get that one right. Okay, so my score is up to 18 out of 100. Okay. And here's a drag and drop activity in the correct order in the right column. Okay, so that's not very helpful. And so optic nerve would be what? Top? No? Last one. Okay, good. Then what? I'm going to let the audience. Cornea, the first one? Okay, good show. You guys are learning this stuff. Pupil. Next one? Okay. Vitreous. Okay, we guessed. Retina. Okay, so I'm up to 48 out of 100. Okay. And this is my favorite one, because this one's pretty easy. It's a puzzle. So they took a graphic and split it into 4 parts, but I think it's almost anybody can get this one. So this is sort of a little bonus. 62. Okay, good. Show answer. Okay. Okay, so here's an embedded movie that was from YouTube. And we can do these in Angel also, just on its own, but it's sort of nice to have it in one whole lesson, everything together. Okay. So these are some of the many things that you can use SoftChalk for. Okay, and here's one where this activity is where you change slides to match normal vision. Cataract, retinitis pigmentosa, myopia. Okay? Okay, and this is an activity where we see a slideshow. Or actually flashcards. And show definition. Okay. And here's a quiz me. Okay. So match the items to the proper state of vision down here. Normal vision would be C, let's say. Cataract, do we remember which one that would be? B? Okay, good. And then age-related macular degeneration? A, okay. And then glaucoma, D? Yes, okay. Check answer. Partially correct. Okay. So we could go back and try to fix that, or we can look at the next one. That's not good. A lot of errors on that page. Okay, and then I look at, I can't get out of that error. It's not good. That's called an inescapable error. Darn, I hate the lessons. I can't get out of that. I click it and then I have split second, okay. And that just is a killer. Okay, so what I do is, I can open up another, I can't even open up another window. Darn. Okay, there we go. And those things happen just occasionally. That actually hasn't happened to me with SoftChalk before, so it's a new. I've got quite a number of programs running right now, overlaying each other. So that's probably what happens. Let me give you one more example here of a SoftChalk lesson. Okay, so we have a Thomas Jefferson history lesson. Okay, so again, we see the nice banner, the theme, and the navigation tools. And then we have a graphic here that was inserted. We have a little movie that we can play and learn more about Thomas Jefferson. We have some links to other websites on Thomas Jefferson. And then we have a drag and drop activity. So a matching activity with the years that things happen, or actually different things. So April 13th, 1743, we can probably guess that that's Thomas Jefferson's birthday. The Continental Congress met here, Philadelphia. Date Declaration of Independence was drafted, probably June 1776. College, where Jefferson attended school, say William and Mary. Parents' names were Mary and Peter, and that leaves the name of the family home. So I got 14 out of 14 on that one. Here's another drag and drop labeling. So we label the various states. Okay, so New York is right there. Pennsylvania, I'm going to say right there. North Carolina, right there. And Virginia. Okay, and Georgia. Okay, so I got the full points on that one. So these are just fun things that we can add to your course, your lesson. Okay, so let's go and look at, here I've got 19 out of 100. Let's look at what that looks like in the gradebook in Angel. I'm going to say Manage, Gradebook, View All Grades. And the way that SoftChalk does it, it puts it in under your name. Like my name's Jeff Costco, and here's the where is the Jefferson here? Oh, okay. Let me tell you one more feature that you need to know. In the module at the end, you have to say Finish for those grades to go to the gradebook. That's something to make note of. So hopefully it still has my grades. And then down here, I would click this Finish, and that's what actually posts it to the gradebook. So for instance, let's see if we can answer this. Thomas Jefferson's ideas, as expressed in the Declaration of Independence, were considered radical for his time. You think that's true or false?
Maybe true.
Maybe true? Okay. Check answer. Sorry, incorrect. False. Okay. Okay. Next one says, how many colonies were represented at the Second Continental Congress? Any history buffs? No? How about 13? All right. And which of the following were connected with Thomas Jefferson's life? It says all correct answers. Was he vice president? Don't think so. Slave owner? Let's try them all. What the heck? Partially correct. Okay, that were good. That was it. Not vice president. Okay, so now if I go down and I say finish, it will put that score, 3 points, under the grade book. View all grades. Okay, so if I go over to the Thomas Jefferson item, 3 points was put in the grade book out of 100. Okay. Oops. Wrong one. Okay, so again, it's a very simple program to use. Typically we're going, let's do a new page. Typically we can either type stuff or paste stuff in from Word or PowerPoint. Here is a sample lesson. So we type our stuff in. We can insert images, hyperlinks, media, whether it's audio clips or movies, widgets, iframes. Iframes is a relatively new item that allows you to display like a PDF or a web page right in that little frame. Sort of neat. So if I put iframe and I direct it to a file or a URL, all of these are really easy to use. Okay. And that didn't quite go where I wanted it, so let me modify iframe. Let's see. Let me try that again. Hit enter, and then I'm going to say insert iframe, and then I'll put www or http www.cnn.com. And we can select the dimensions of that iframe too if we want to alter from the default. And then I'm going to hit enter again. And then I can insert any of these other items. So I've got all these 21 activities. So charts, crossword puzzle, did you know, drag and drop, flashcards, hotspot, jigsaw puzzle, labeling, ordering, photo album, all those things are available. The other thing that you're going to want to do is your style. So we go up to properties for that, style properties, and it has over 100 different styles that you can use, and they're displayed in little icons on the right. So if I just pick maybe this one, okay, and then I'm going to save this out. Before I can preview it, I need to save it somewhere, and I'm just going to save it as example. Save. Okay, and let me show you a few other things under style property. So we picked our major style here, which is called Stone's Banner. And then we want to look under title and layout. And under here we can actually put the title that will go in that banner. And I'm just going to call it SoftChalk 7 Example. And we can have a subtitle like we have an angel and have some other information down there. We can have a table of contents page. We can have drop-down menu at the top, print all pages, copyright notices if you want to have that in there. And then we'll say OK. And now if I go up to preview, it's going to show me what I have so far created in SoftChalk. So it's a real simple program. I think once you install it and start to use it, it's pretty self-explanatory.
I'm using PowerPoint and I spending a lot of time maybe because I'm not the expert. But my concern is when I put it like on the lessons, they can like copy it and start forwarding to anyone. Is this more like secure? Can I?
Yeah, this is
Can I privatize it?
this is a lot more secure because there's a whole bunch of files that are downloaded in Angel. They can't do a right mouse click and save you know, that material. They may be able to save a graphic because typically
The PowerPoint they can, of course. If I put a file of PowerPoint on my lessons, they can copy it and do whatever they want.
yeah, there's different ways to insert PowerPoint. You could make it into an Empatica movie, for instance, and then they couldn't copy it.
There's want to prevent it.
Yeah, you want to prevent them from taking your PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Probably the Empatica. We have that up in the EdTech Center. And it's real simple. We can convert it for you up there, or you know, give me a call at 3669, and I'll be glad to do that for you. So here's what we have so far. We have our banner that says SoftChalk 7 example. Then we have our text that we typed in, and then we have this iframe. And this is basically a website, or it could be a PDF or another file, and they can navigate it right from this little iframe. Okay, and then we have our copyright notice down here. So that's all we have so far. Let's go back to SoftChalk. So what we're going to do, we're going to copy and paste our material we probably already have from Word or some other PowerPoint. And we're going to paste it in and organize it. One of the things that you'll probably want to do is a page break, and that's real easy. You just say Insert, Page Break. Okay. And then see it right there in the light blue, Page Break. Okay. So it's a very simple program. I think most of you are familiar with all of these icons. So this just means view in the browser, bold, italic, underscore, the text color, so we can change that to whatever you want to use. It's just a very simple program to use, and it works perfectly with Angel. It's just a great extra thing to have when you're presenting courses in Angel. SoftChalk makes a great addition. And the reason is because we can add, we're going to go back down here and look at some other things. We can add a quiz popper, like a question, a true-false question real quickly. And you can just say the internet was created in 1970. True or false? And the answer is false. And what we have feedback up here tab, and we can say, you know, leave what they put in there already, or we can put the right answer down here. We can put hints, real simply, just whatever the hint is. We can have options, and we can actually put points, 2 points for this, okay? And then we'll save it out. Okay, so here's the quiz me, and this is going to be viewable in the browser. So I'm going to save this out and then preview it in the browser, and we're going to see what that looks like. Now we have a self-paced SoftChalk course. It's available if you go to that EdTech Center homepage and look at training opportunities. You can sign up for that, and it's in Angel, and that takes you step by step. And we're also willing to do face-to-face training. If you want to get together a group in your particular department that would be interested, and if you had more than you know, 2 or 3 folks will be glad to do face-to-face training up in the EdTech Center on SoftChalk. And typically it would be a couple hours in length, and we'll go in more detail looking at all the different features. But pretty much, most people can start using this immediately. It's that simple because you've already been using the HTML editor in Angel. You've already been using similar things like Word, and it's very similar. Okay, so here is the next page, and here's my Quiz Me question. Okay, let me go back there to the next page. Okay, Quiz Me. The internet was created in 1970, and I'm going to say false. Check answer. Good job. That's how easy it is to put those in there. Now, typically, in SoftChalk, you're just going to have a singular question. You can have, you know, 3 or 4 in a row if you want, but we put them in one at a time. So if you had a case where you had wanted to ask 20 or 30 questions to the class, Angel is the better place to do that in a regular assessment. But this is good for like a quick check, you know, to make sure they're getting the material. Okay. So we have up here our navigation, and we can go back to page 1. That's how easy it is. And most people, I mean, I've had people that knew very little about computers, and they love SoftChalk. It's just so easy to get started. And again, we have a site license, so you can use it not only in your office but also at home. It's available on Windows and Macintosh. On that site, we also had the full documentation that you can download. It goes into, if we look down here, here's the SoftChalk user guide, and it's very complete. Over the years, they've improved it quite a bit, and it made it more comprehensive. So every little area, like saving a lesson, previewing a lesson, even though it's just a click of an icon, they go through it and tell you all the steps. There's another nice thing that it has is a media search. And I'll show you what that looks like, where you just click a button and you can search on a keyword and find materials to put in your lesson. You can have a library of things that you, a private library of things that you reuse in multiple courses. They have a learning object repository called SoftChalk Connect that you can sign up for. They have a free level that you can download SoftChalk modules that other faculty have created. You can store your modules out there and just link to them too. Here's the package a lesson that we looked at. Delivering, you can do it in Angel, but you can also create a CD if you needed to. You can make it an executable lesson on Windows or Macintosh. Then it goes through all the quiz popper variations, all the activities, the 21 activities that are available, the how to insert a widget. So remember widgets, there's thousands, millions of those out there on the internet that you can possibly use in your course. You can build your own style with the style builder. You can create your own color scheme for all those items. You can change those options. E-course builder is where you have multiple of these SoftChalk modules that you tie together in one, like a book, one giant module called an e-course, and it's basically a table of contents, and then you go to module 1, module 2, module 3. So it ties multiple SoftChalk lessons together. The math, is anybody in math in here? So it has a lot of math capability, but it doesn't cover every single equation that's out there or character that's out there. Okay, so let me go back to SoftChalk. Let me show you the media search. It's under Tools, and this is sort of a neat item. It allows you to put in, you can select all these areas that you want to check for materials. You have to agree to the copyright license. And then you put in any word. Just put in a word, like fish. And then it goes out and searches all those. And then from this, you can just insert a particular, you look through all these materials, and some of these are lessons in SoftChalk. Okay. Well, let's say I just wanted to insert this little fish. When I click on it, it tells me about it, and if there's any information about that, and then I just say insert. And then it inserts that into my lesson, that particular graphic, movie, audio clip, whatever it is. That's a great resource. In one little tool, it searches all these various repositories. It's called Tools Media Search. Tools Media Search. Okay, so up here we had the style properties, and that's what picks out the standard. There's over 100 of those standard different styles that you can use. And if you wanted to create your own, you go under Tools Style Builder. And it allows you to change the banner colors. Down here you can change all of that. You can get down to the nitty-gritty and make it a particular shade of whatever you want to use. So that's called the Style Builder, and also is the e-course builder. And this just basically links together multiple SoftChalk lessons that you've already made into one, like a course, an e-course. And that's sort of nice. That's sort of a nice feature. Let's see what else they have here. Here's all the math and special characters that you could put in. So it's not a totally extensive set, but it gives you some capability there. And the widgets. So if you have a widget, you just type in the name and description, and then you put in the HTML. The way that you would get to that is typically we go out, I haven't done this lately, but just type in widgets. And actually Google, I think, has a widget widget downloads. I haven't done that lately, so. And what you do, you go out to this site, and then you would typically search on a particular keyword. If you're into math or history or whatever, and there might be a widget that's already created, you're not going to probably be able to alter it or anything, but you sort of use that particular code that somebody created. And one of them I saw was on vitamins. So it just told you, as you clicked the vitamins, it told you which fruits and vegetables had that vitamin, what the benefits were. It's little things like that. They're little software tools that people have made into a widget. And what we do, we get the code, and then we paste that code. Like here's a widget right here, a little simple thing. What's sunrise and sunset? It's a little widget. And if I wanted the code, I click download. And actually it's a little zip file here, but typically we just copy the HTML code, and then we go back into SoftChalk and we paste it in here. We paste it into this HTML area. And then that inserts the widget into our particular program, our SoftChalk module. Let me open one that has a widget. Sort of.
So that widget is written in HTML?
Yeah. Well, it's usually like written in Java. Right. And we copy an HTML code, and it allows us to insert that inline into our page. And we can do that in Angel already.
Similar to Java applets.
Yeah, and I was looking at, it is very similar, you're right. So the eye, all about the eye, module that we opened previously had a widget. And we can go in there and look at the placeholder and say modify widget, and that will show us this JavaScript or this HTML text that was put in. That's all it is. It's a matter of getting that text, and then notice that it goes out to wherever that is located, widgetbox.com, and it inserts that inline into wherever you want it, whether it's Angel or in your SoftChalk module in Angel. But they're very easy to use, and people have written thousands of these out there. It's just a matter of getting to a widget database, searching on your particular area, and seeing if there's something that interests you that you might want to incorporate into your class.
So are those streamed in, like when you ask where the sunrise is and the sunset, it's all streamed in, or is it all on the computer?
Tell me that again.
Is it streamed in, like when you go to the
It comes from the original site, and then it probably, depending on the widget, it's probably going to get some data from your local machine, you know, what your local machine is and what its time of day is and so forth. Yeah, and they're all a little bit different, so I can't go into particular details, but it's something to look at are these widgets. Adding a widget, it's relatively easy. Again, it's just insert widget, and then you just fill in that HTML code, and that makes it operational in your course. You're not going to be able to modify that widget, but you're going to be able to utilize it in your course. Okay. Okay, what other questions do you have about SoftChalk?
Try it.
Huh?
I'm anxious to try it.
Yeah, you're anxious to try it? Is everybody interested in SoftChalk? Okay, yeah, it's a great program, and I highly recommend it. And numerous of your fellow faculty are already using it. So to make a great tool, and again, I'm Jeff Costco on the handout there, extension 3669. I routinely work with SoftChalk, and I'll be glad to help you with any further questions you have down the road. If you have any trouble installing it, it's a very small program and installs really easily, but if anything comes up, you can give me a call and I'll be glad to assist you. Okay.